In the infinite expanse of space, where stars flicker like distant dreams, the Galactic Federation stood poised for its final assault against humanity. A fleet of ships, crafted with the most advanced technology the galaxy had ever known, moved in perfect unison. They were an armada, vast and imposing, stretching across the void like a curtain woven from the light of countless stars. Commander Ralkin, a fearsome leader of the Federation's forces, stood resolutely at the helm of the Kelsier. His compound eyes flickered with calculated intensity, taking in the tactical displays before him. The enemy fleet, what remained of humanity's last stronghold, was on the horizon, and Ralkin's anticipation for victory mingled with an unsettling feeling deep within him. His experience told him that underestimating an opponent could lead to disaster, and today was no exception. Commander, his lieutenant, Jorok, interrupted his thoughts, his antennae twitching with a nervous energy. The enemy fleet is closing in. They'll be in firing range in 4 cycles. Ralkin nodded, his gaze unyielding. The Federation had always relied on superior technology and tactics to crush its foes. Their quantum shields and gravity cannons were unmatched, and yet, something about this confrontation felt different. Humanity had proven unpredictable in the past, capable of defiance even when all odds were against them. Have they shown any new strategies? Ralkin asked, shifting his focus to the tactical display, where enemy ships were illuminated in the cold blue glow of their scanners. No, Commander, Jorok replied, a hint of disdain creeping into his voice. They continue to rely on brute force. They are foolish. Ralkin felt a chill at Jorok's words. Underestimating the enemy had led to the downfall of many powerful civilizations. Prepare the fleet. We'll show them the consequences of their folly. As the Kelsier powered up, the rest of the Federation fleet mirrored its actions, a synchronized dance of destruction. But just as Ralkin felt the thrill of impending victory, an unexpected anomaly appeared on the display. A new signal, massive and dark, emerged from the depths of space. What is that? Jorok's voice trembled slightly as he leaned closer to the console, his fingers dancing across its surface to enhance the image. Ralkin stared at the strange vessel that had materialized on their screens. It was enormous, dwarfing even the Federation's largest dreadnoughts. No energy signatures, no signs of heat or propulsion. It was a void in space, a shadow among the stars. It can't be human, Jorok whispered, his eyes widening in disbelief. Could it be a ghost ship? Ralkin mused, recalling tales whispered among the ranks, a myth from the depths of time, a human vessel lost centuries ago, said to return in humanity's darkest hour. That's absurd, Jorok scoffed, though the tremor in his voice betrayed his unease. But Ralkin felt the weight of the stories pressing on his mind. This ship didn't appear on any known Federation database. It was a phantom, an enigma that refused to conform to their understanding of the universe. Commander, it's moving, Jorok announced, his voice cracking as he glanced back at the screen. The ghost ship began to shift, its hull shimmering as though it were slipping between realities. Suddenly, the ship fired a single shot, a burst of crimson light streaking across the void and slamming into the Kelsier's forward shields. The ship shuddered violently, alarms blaring as the crew scrambled to stabilize their vessel. Shields down! Jorok shouted, panic seeping into his voice. Ralkin's mind raced. How could a single shot from an unknown ship take down our defenses so easily? He slammed his fist onto the console, the realization hitting him like a tidal wave. All ships, return fire. Now! As his order echoed through the command center, the fleet responded. Beams of energy, missiles, and kinetic rounds surged toward the ghost ship. But to their horror, the projectiles passed through it as if it were smoke. Not a single hit landed. What is happening? Ralkin gasped, disbelief taking hold of him. The ghost ship returned fire, reducing 3 Federation ships to molten debris in the blink of an eye. Ralkin watched in horror as his invincible armada was torn apart like fragile paper. What is this? Jorok's face went pale, his disbelief mirrored in the eyes of the other crew members. No human ship has this kind of power, Ralkin said, his voice barely above a whisper. Fall back. Fall back? Jorok exclaimed, shock evident on his face. We can't abandon the fight. But it was too late. The ghost ship was upon them, its weapons tearing through the fleet with terrifying precision. Ships exploded in silent fury, one after another, their crews lost to the void. Ralkin's heart raced as he realized the horrifying truth. They were not facing a myth, they were facing death itself. The command bridge flickered with failing power, the once sterile lights of the Kelsier now flashing erratically, casting sharp shadows on the terrified faces of his crew. The ghost ship loomed large in every viewport, devouring the stars as it advanced. "Get us out of here!" Ralkin yelled, slamming a clawed hand onto the control console. "Full retreat, maximum speed." "The navigation systems are not responding," the officer at the helm shouted, panic creeping into his voice. "Something's interfering with our systems." A sudden jolt rocked the ship, sending several officers to the floor. "They're targeting our engines!" Jorok screamed, gripping his station. The tactical display showed the grim truth. Red blips indicated that the Federation fleet was being picked off one by one. The ghost ship's attacks were surgical, each blast annihilating another vessel with mechanical indifference, leaving the Federation's forces scattered and broken. "Damn it!" Ralkin snarled, spinning around to face the communications officer. "Send a distress signal. We need reinforcements." "Long-range communications are jammed," the officer replied, his voice trembling with fear. Ralkin clenched his fists, his claws digging into his palms. Whoever or whatever commanded the ghost ship had them completely outmatched. It wasn't just firepower. Every move the Federation fleet made, the ghost ship countered before it even happened. The deck rattled again, and Ralkin heard a sharp crack from the ceiling above. A chunk of paneling fell, smashing onto a console and sending sparks flying into the air. "Shields offline," Jorok shouted, scrambling to assess the damage. "We're completely exposed." Ralkin's heart pounded in his chest. He had faced death before, but nothing like this. This was slaughter. His instinct screamed for him to retreat, to abandon the battle and save what few ships remained. But there was no escape. The ghost ship had them boxed in like a hunter cornering its prey. "Status of the fleet," Ralkin demanded, forcing his voice to remain calm. Jorok glanced at the tactical screen, his eyes wide with disbelief. 70% destroyed. More are being lost by the minute. Ralkin knew Jorok was right, staying meant certain death. But retreat wasn't an option anymore. The ghost ship controlled the battlefield. "We need a distraction," Ralkin said, his mind racing. Jorok looked at him, his expression grim. "I know, but we can draw it away. Set the Kelsier on a collision course with that thing. Make them think we're going for a suicide run." The bridge fell silent for a moment. Jorok stared at Ralkin, trying to process the order. Ralkin's gaze was cold, hardened by the weight of impending doom. "We're already dead if we stay here. If we can make them believe we're going all in, maybe the other ships can break away. Get the survivors out of here." Jorok hesitated but eventually nodded, his face hardening. "Understood." "Helm, plot the course. Focus all weapons on that ship," Ralkin ordered. "We'll light them up with everything left in the arsenal." The crew moved into action, hands flying over consoles. Ralkin watched the tactical screen as the Kelsier shifted, angling its damaged hull toward the ghost ship. He knew the odds were slim, but if they could just get close enough. The ghost ship loomed larger, its dark hull swallowing the light of nearby stars. Its weapons had gone silent, as if it knew the Federation fleet was no longer a threat worth acknowledging. It simply drifted forward, a predator waiting for its prey to tire. "All systems ready," the helm officer reported, his voice tight with fear. "Engage!" Ralkin commanded, gripping the railing in front of him, his eyes locked on the massive form ahead. Every sensor on board screamed danger, warning of impending destruction, but Ralkin ignored them. This was their only chance. "Prepare to fire all weapons on my mark," he said, his voice steady. The distance between the two ships closed rapidly. The ghost ship didn't react, it didn't fire. It was as if it didn't even acknowledge the Kelsier's desperate attack, and that unnerved Ralkin. More than anything else. 5 seconds to impact. Jorok shouted, adrenaline coursing through him. "Fire!" Ralkin bellowed, his voice echoing in the chaos. The Kelsier unleashed a barrage of energy beams and missiles, lighting up the void with fiery explosions. The ghost ship finally responded, activating its defensive systems, but it was too late. The Kelsier struck with a blinding flash, engulfed in a hell of its own making. As the light swallowed everything, Ralkin felt a surge of triumph. They had given it their all, and maybe, just maybe, they could still buy some time for the others. He closed his eyes, embracing the warmth of the flames as they washed over him. But in that moment, he felt a strange sensation wash over him, an icy chill that pierced through the inferno. The darkness wasn't just the end, it was something more profound. The remnants of the Kelsier drifted in the void, a shattered carcass left behind in the wake of the ghost ship's fury. Survivors, if there were any, were trapped within the twisted metal, their hopes extinguished like the dying light of distant stars. Inside the ghost ship, a different story unfolded. The vessel pulsed with a dark energy, an eerie glow that illuminated the chamber where the crew, if they could be called that, gathered. They were neither human nor alien but a hybrid, a testament to a forgotten past, beings caught between worlds. At the center of this gathering stood Captain Mira, her eyes a deep, haunting shade of green, reminiscent of ancient forests that had long since disappeared. She was a ghost, a remnant of humanity's forgotten glory, forged into something new by the ship itself. Her very existence was intertwined with the vessel, each thought resonating with its dark energy. "Are we truly ready for this?" she questioned the gathered beings, her voice echoing through the chamber. They were the lost, remnants of humanity who had merged with the ship in a desperate bid for survival. They were bound by a singular purpose, to reclaim their home, Earth. "Yes," one of her companions replied, his voice a low growl. Lorne, the ship's engineer, had always been the most fervent supporter of their mission. His metallic frame glinted in the dim light, a blend of organic and artificial components that had once been a human body. "We are ready. The Federation has shown us their weakness. It is time to strike." Mira regarded him thoughtfully. The memories of humanity, the laughter, the pain, the struggle, filled her with a sense of purpose. "But what about the cost? We cannot simply annihilate without reason." "The cost was paid long ago," Lorne replied, his tone firm. "When they turned their backs on us. When they let us die." A wave of murmurs swept through the assembly. The others were restless, eager for revenge, their desires intertwining with the ship's will. Mira felt their yearning, an ancient hunger for justice that burned brightly within them. "We will not become monsters," she asserted, her voice steady. "We must find a balance. Our purpose is not merely to destroy, but to reclaim what is rightfully ours." As she spoke, the ship responded, resonating with her words, the walls vibrating with a low hum. The energy flowed through her, amplifying her resolve. "We will take back Earth, but we will do it in a way that honors what we were. We will be the architects of a new beginning." The lost fell silent, considering her words. For a moment, doubt flickered in their eyes. The dark energy surrounding them pulsated, a reminder of the power they wielded, but Mira knew that power alone could lead to ruin. "Let us begin," she finally said, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and exhilaration. "Prepare the ship for departure." As the crew moved into action, Mira felt the weight of their history pressing down on her. The ghost ship had been born from the ashes of humanity, and now it held the key to their resurgence. But would they?